Yes, yes, yes. Greetings, one and all. Yes, my soul brothers and sisters. This is Siayome, Brother Siayome here, a.k.a. Cosmic Call Mystic, a.k.a. Ab Ankh Rem. And yes, I'm here again with you this evening, running a little bit behind whatever the time, but I'm here. And on time as whatever time, if you get what I mean. So, yes, I trust you all are good and you're tuned in and so forth. I'd like to big up all of those, give a shout out to all of those who are tuning in live on YouTube and tuning in on the internet or the FM. And yes, a big shout out to all of y'all. And yeah, we're going into continuation of, as you know, I'm doing a series of what is spiritual awakening, but not all of these shows are going to be titled that, but it is based on this series of what is spiritual awakening as I increase to expand and give suggestions and what you call it, ideas to expand the consciousness of those who are receptive to it. And at the same time, you know, there's a lot who want to stay contained within the boundaries of their thoughts and thinking and concepts and beliefs, and it's, you know, it become like war or whatnot, but I'm not here for that. I'm here for the expansion of consciousness, to share that with those who are receptive and willing, you know, to expand and move forward in their soul's growth and, you know, to unfold the capacity of their potential that they have within. So, yes, in saying all of that, you got to tune in to Cosmic, you tune into Cosmic Roots Show, Cosmic Reality of Our True Selves. So I will be right back. So continue tuning in to the tune.
Reality of our true self.
Yes, Roots. Greetings, y'all. So here I am, back again. Tuesday. Another strong for Cosmic Roots show. So yeah, I have a few things to talk and shout out first. I got some cosmic weather update, and yeah, gonna share some information which has come my way to share and contribute to the whole overall purpose of what this show is about. This station, my contribution, and so forth, assisting in the expansion of consciousness. So, cause this is what it's about, y'all. You know what I mean? Moving past those boundaries we have within our consciousness that keeps us perceiving ourselves as separate from the greater wholeness of whom and what we truly is. And we get caught up on enforcing and energizing the same old limited ideologies. And yes, but everybody's, it's a journey. And everybody's got their everybody's got their journey, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, some want to stay contracted and others want to expand and grow. So that's the choice each individual's got to have to decide for themselves to know which vibration they line up with. So this is about expansion of consciousness, y'all. And yes, I just want to share some a little update on some cosmic weather, because a lot of us before I go into that, yes, you can tune in on www.blessradio.org. The call-in number for anyone who wants to contribute or feel activated, some activation takes place inside, and they feel, spontaneously I would like to call in and share something or express, what their own inner insight is that contributes to the further expansion of consciousness. Feel free to do so. The telephone number is 079 444 31366. That is 079 444 31366. So yes, y'all. I'm gonna play a bit some more music, but I'm trying to get my selection together before I can do so. But yeah, there is some I'm gonna go into, like last Tuesday I was talking about I had touched in, I was talking about what is information, really, what is it, and what is true self-knowledge, because I think that it needs to be we need to kind of acknowledge, question some of this stuff, because a lot of us feel that spirituality, you're just gathering information, but, it's like, but is this information relative and specific to you? All right, let me give another way of putting it this way. You can go out the street and gather a whole heap of food, just pack up your refrigerator, right, with a whole heap of food, okay? But the whole heap of food in your refrigerator, yeah, you don't eat none of it. It's not really what you find appetizing as such for you to digest, but you're going to fill up your refrigerator with a whole heap of food. So the food isn't the issue. It would be, what is the context? What is relevant to you? You would fill up your fridge with what's relative to you. Okay, yeah, what's specific to you, the things you eat, the things you then help assist you to grow, the things that make sense to you. You're not just going to clog up your refrigerator with a whole heap of food just for the sake of having food in it. So I'm giving that as an analogy as to kind of say, well, look here, information. A lot of us, we're in the information age, and it's just outpouring, it's inundation. It is just flooding the place. But information can also become constipation, because if you're just dealing with information and trying to keep up to date with the latest thing, or even you're dealing with information that's not even enabling you to expand or grow, okay, because life is about growth, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Life grows, yeah. And if you're not growing, you're degenerating. Rather than regenerating, generating again and again and again, which is, yes, the nature of life. And in for there to be a continuation, like an evolution, there has to be an involution, meaning the past, or what has been previously held on to, needs to be let go of in order to grow into the new expanded, expression and expansion of yourself. So, you're going to put on a new pair of clothes. You got to dash away the old or come out of the old. Otherwise, what previously was benefiting you now becomes the actual issue that's stagnating you. You see what I'm saying? So I was talking about information in the context of exactly. Is it relevant to you? A lot of us are, is this information assisting you? The information that you gather, I'm talking about. A lot of people are just reading all about this, up and down with this info, that info, and all of that, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't get to a point where you are actually asking yourself, is this relevant? What is relevant and specific to me? How is this assisting me to grow? How is this assisting me to know myself authentically? You see what I'm saying? How is this information contributing me to get out of the box, out of the limitation, so I can expand more and express more of my unique potential? You see what I'm saying? In order to fulfill my soul's evolutionary intention. You see what I'm saying? Because some folk don't even really look at information based upon the nourishment for the soul. They're just dealing with information to kind of, I would say, nourish the brain cells, the intellect, okay? But it's a thing where it's like, that's what I'm just putting it into context to say, hey, look, this is what I mean about what is information and what is true self-knowledge. Because the purpose of knowledge, right? The purpose of real knowledge, the purpose of knowledge, differently to so-called information and so-called knowledge that we get conditioned to believe is knowledge based upon the institutions and the certification or qualification boards within a system that is basically structured to keep you within compartments, okay? I'm not talking about that type of knowledge. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the purpose of knowledge in itself. The purpose of knowledge is to assist one to realize their soul nature. Yeah, all knowledge really is to bring you back to your soul nature, for you to realize more about yourself, because the soul is yourself. You see? Not the garments, not the image, you know what I mean? Our personal self-image and so forth. You know what I mean? Which also becomes a source of identity for many people, for many, independent of your ethnicity and so forth. The idea of whom we usually think we are is based on some superficial impermanency, and it's the identification or the attachment to this false identity is where a lot of the insecurities come from. You see what I mean? Based upon this false self-image, okay? So when I was talking about what is self-knowledge, y'all, what is true self-knowledge and what is information, I was basically bringing it forth in the way I did last Tuesday to kind of just, activate, more growth in thought, expansion in thought, to just make you question and reflect inwardly. Because a lot of folk is just chasing knowledge, and a lot of this stuff turns commercialized, and it just turns into business money making. Not saying that there's any problem in, how you should say, exchanging value for value. So getting money for, being paid for, the energy and the time that you give of value. There's nothing wrong with a value exchange. You know what I'm saying? But it's the motivation behind it. That's the whole thing, you know what I mean, when it comes down to it. So, yeah, just recapping on what I was mentioning last Tuesday and putting it in its context, because what is true self-knowledge and information? Because a lot of, it's just a lot of folk are just caught up in gathering of information and not realizing that it's not about keeping up with the latest date of, whatever's the trendiest stuff, or just depending on book stuff, external. Nothing wrong with that. Don't get me. Don't miss me. Don't miscomprehend me. Don't, get it twisted. Of course, you can, books can assist you depending on the kind of book. You see, again, you got to be selective. You got to be like, is this book relative to the information I'm desiring to gather that can assist me in expanding the knowledge of myself in the area that I'm, looking to go? So you got to ask yourself these questions. Otherwise, you get people just chatting stuff, but it's not about them. It's just what they've managed to, memorize, recite, and, but you're not dealing with true self-knowledge. You see what I'm saying? True self-knowledge is going to come through intuition as well. It's not going to depend upon just the external data that you're arranging and memorizing and putting together. You understand? It's going to be about, you see, intuition is that ability to tap into knowing without knowing how you know. You see? But at the same time, you will know how you know from beyond that explanation usually people have to go into to say, well, I learned from this and I learned from that, and they could trace you to various books and various sources to verify your data. In fact, you get certain people that won't even listen to some folk if you cannot give them a bibliography. Well, hang on a minute, where's your scholarship? Which book you're going to refer? I want to know your sources. You know what I mean? And it's always usually external. But what about the source, the true source, the inner source? You see what I mean? This is when you're now dealing with spiritual knowledge, because physical is where you keep focusing outwardly, outside, in search for, the truth of thyself. It's a spiritual knowledge, which is why it's an inward reflection. You see what I'm saying? That within yourself, even the term source, because we're using this term source nowadays, and, I'm not talking about hot pepper sauce or barbecue sauce or peri-peri. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about, some finger-licking sauce in that sense, or even you're chatting about somebody being very saucy, in that context, which is, you may like it. That's all good. It could be sweet and sweet chili or whatever. But I'm talking about the source in reference to, what would be defined as what? A place, person, or thing from which something originates or can be obtained. You see what I'm saying? So in this respect, we're talking about the source of ourselves, the source of existence, the source of our very being. You see what I'm saying? Yeah? That which we have sprung forth from, or the fountainhead from which, a river or stream issues forth from, as example, the source of the Nile. You know what I mean? I am talking about the source, that fountainhead, okay, that origin, that author of our being, yeah, where we originate from. Now, a lot of us will say, there's those who would say, Africa, 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 Ethiopia, Ethiopia, Ethiopia. Now, yeah, but that's not source to me. And this is where I may come across like, whoa, I talk to certain folk. But that cannot be source for me, right? Because I'm talking about the source before that. I'm talking about the source of your very essence. This is where I'm going to go into about soul today. And last Tuesday, I did touch on the evolutionary intention of the soul, and I did talk a bit about that last Tuesday, last strong, and I'm going to go more into that as the show continues. So I'm talking about source within ourselves, the origin, yeah, the original, you know what I mean, the author, authentic authority. You see what I'm saying? Of life, of existence, of beingness. This is what me I talk about, because this existed, this where our being, our soul, our essence existed long before, way before this plane that we're upon right now even existed. Okay, even came into being. Okay, so I'm talking about source in that respect. Okay, so just it's good to clarify, because when we say about source, Things can be taken in an external sense, or which is material, physical, or the internal sense, which is spiritual. And spirit come before matter. You see what I mean? Spirit and matter is not separate, but one is the cause and the other is the effect. Okay? Spirit is the higher vibrational frequency of what matter is, but it's a slower vibration. Yeah? Coming to crystallization to make itself visible. But when it speeds back up again and energy frequencies get higher, you then move out of the visible spectrum. And because a lot of people just depend upon the tactile five senses, what they can't see, hear, smell, taste, touch, you know what I'm saying, don't exist. And this is how many people condition. Or they get afraid of what is called the unknown. You see what I'm saying? And these are the limitedness of Wagwan, you know, with, you know, the way we've been conditioned to perceive things and so forth. So, yeah, so I'm just making it clear when I'm talking about the source, I'm talking about the point, that point of origin, yeah, that point of origin that, you know, what originally rise like a wave, right? Coming out of the ocean, it rises out from its source, which is the ocean, just like ourselves. You see what I'm saying? So I'm talking about source as in to rise, because that's where you go to the Middle English or from Old French. It actually comes to rise. Okay. Also with the word ori means to rise. You know, just check out the backdrop of your language that you're using to think with, that you're using to communicate to yourself with. You know what I mean? So you're clear with yourself. So I think I've clarified that, right? So source, you know what I mean? That which we rose out from, the origin, the, you know, the point of origin, okay? Origin, okay? And so that's what I'm talking about. So the source is within. And that's what I'm talking about, our spiritual source, the source of life itself. You know what I mean? We're talking about thanking, give thanks for life and so forth. But we you know, we can be looking outside and thinking, oh gosh, you know, that's life, that the food that you're eating in your plate. That ain't life, man. I'm talking about the source of life, which is within. Yeah? The very essence of our being, and where we have drawn that essence, that consciousness which is immutable and indestructible and lives lifetime after lifetime. That's the self. That's the origin I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? And if you're talking about anything less than that, then we might as well just stay in a box, okay? You see? Because that's the external container, business, limitations, and so forth. So yeah, so that was what I was just put in a nutshell, and so to speak, what I was talking last strong. But I want to give a little update on something, because there's a lot of other things going on that many folk caught up in their minds and don't think of they're not aware of anything beyond, yeah, you know, what they want to associate everything to. You understand? When they keep looking outside and don't do no inner reflection, then there's a lot of things that folk are unaware of while it's happening. And therefore, because they're not aware of the source or the cause behind the effects that they may be having or experiencing, then they come up with these limited ideas, and it just messes you up even more. So I'm going to give you a little cosmic weather update. Yeah? You know, as I was doing on the show previously, I was dealing with some astro weather. Well, this is some cosmic astro weather. And it's some notes I'm going to read from, because it's coming from, basically, it's coming from a woman who, well, basically, she shared this to be shared, okay? It's her works. And, but it's, this individual is not the only person aware of this stuff, but they make yeah, this is part of their contribution to the whole, you know, expanding of consciousness. Now, a lot of folk don't really aware of no cosmic weather, okay? A lot of people are just dealing with Well, it was cold the other day, and it was raining and such the day before that, and you're just dealing with the clouds and the breeze and the temperature and so forth. And this is the type of weather they're thinking about. Weather. But the cosmic weather is to do with the invisible vibrational cosmic frequencies that are permeating each and everything, and having a cause, becoming the cause to the effect taking place within us on a cellular subatomic level. Okay? So I'll just drop it. Because a lot of people have been going through a lot of uncomfortable stuff. A whole heap of shit's been coming up, a whole heap of issues broken out, and it's expressing itself through their moods, it's expressing itself through the interaction with family members, expressing itself through the way their health and how they feel and their interactions and things that they want to achieve, and things may not be happening, and all of this leads to a lot of internal conflict and discomfort, and people running around acting out their stuff and taking it out on this one or that one, or getting depressed and sitting in a box feeling alienated or isolated, because there is more going on than what meets the eye. And this is why it's important to really realize that there's more going on here than what's on your news. Okay? People rush home to go and sit down and watch something on the news, even WhatsApp that stuff, as if to say this is some main, front row seat flipping important stuff. Huh? To go home and go watch the news on this or that. And all them sitting there distract you from the real news. You know what I'm saying? The real news. So anyway, the news of yourself and the updates and the upgrades taking place on a DNA genetic level, and you know what I'm saying? So we have there's a big cosmic storm in the sense of the intensities of these frequencies, high cosmic frequencies, that's been permeating through this planet and through ourselves, because it's coming from the inside out, y'all. And it's been going on for decades, and it's just been increasing, and all of it's been contributing to the internal changes that are being eventually expressed outside. Okay, but these changes are taking place steadily, because if some of them are too sudden, yeah, man, you're gonna blow up certain circuits in people. Okay, and what's directing this change is cosmic consciousness intelligence, y'all. This is not what is being directed by the personal self-image, human ego construct, and that type of intellectual, deductive processing and so forth. So I'm just going to give you a quick little update here. A cosmic storm, a bruise, is underway. Deep emotion, deep fears, deep everything, surfacing to observe. These things that you're experiencing that are discomforting. Even you're staying up till all 8 in the morning and all, or in the day and all of that, and the early rising, and you're not sleeping the same way. Your sleeping habits are changing, or you're just, you can have all different type of experiences of these things, which are actually symptoms of a cause that is related to the cosmic waves that are increasing, coming in through the planet. Okay, so it's going to bring up these deep emotions, deep fears, deep everything, basically, to surface in order to observe them, to embrace them, right? No longer believe or fear them, right? In order to fully clear them from your physical body vessel, so that more light, which is love, can fill that space. Did you hear what I just said? The purpose behind a lot of this discomfort that is rising up and coming up to the surface, as in, deep emotions, okay? Deep emotional turbulences, deep fears, deep, feelings of vulnerability, and old past stuff, and the rehatching of old wounds or whatever, the deep of everything, basically, from past that's being held in your body. These things are surfacing in order for you to observe them, so they're no longer suppressed in the unconscious, right? Where they just, hold and draw more energy of the same to you and hold you back from growth. You see, these things are coming up, surfacing, so you can observe them in order for you to clear from your physical body vessel, all of that which is being held in the cellular memory and in the subatomic levels, you know what I'm saying? In order for you to fill with more light. And I did mention this, I mentioned this in a certain way about 3 strongs ago when I was talking about you got to clean out your cup. You know what I'm saying? You got to clean out that cup from all the rancid, existing, past stuff that is no longer serving you. In fact, you might have found security in it in the past, but now it's what's holding you back. It's keeping you stagnant. Yeah? So I was saying you need to clean out the sediment in your cup in order to receive the fresh, clean water. So this is the same thing, but I'm talking now about the energetics and all of these feelings and emotions that's coming up and how you may be experiencing them in your body, and it can be painful and very intense and uncomfortable. But the purpose of it is for you to become conscious of these fears and conscious of these limited thoughts and conditionings in order for your vessel to become fully cleared so you can be filled with more light, cosmic light, okay? To fill that space that's getting cleared. A massive upheaval of anything not pure, meaning anything that's not clear, okay? A massive flipping of that which, all perceived as reality before. So a lot of us are holding on to these ideas of reality based on, thought constructs, beliefs we have. I mean, my gosh, man. You got some people who are, when you introduce information to people who want to grow, they're receptive and so forth, then you can have a conversation. You can ask questions that enable to open up the opportunity for deeper explanation to come forth in order for that knowledge to be shared that expands the consciousness. But you also have a lot of folk who they want to hold on to a philosophy and that idea of reality they want to hold on to, and they don't want to expand. They want to stay contracted, and they want to enforce their idea of this limited perspective onto others if you don't agree, because this is where they're getting their sense of security from, okay? But you see, if you are having to force yourself, anyway, look here, man, this stuff is just getting limited. That's what I'm basically saying. And so you got 2 things. You got the flip side of each coin going on right now. There are those who are able to open up, what I mean by that, being more receptive, okay? They're not so threatened by information or knowledge that they're not familiar with. So, they're the souls that are more about, they're about lining up with their evolutionary intent. So they're looking to expand the consciousness. They're not going to be so easily threatened if you're saying something different to what they've been brought up to, held on to, or the holy book reading that they have done that they are using to depend upon as what is their truth, when there's a lot of diversity in thoughts and what is considered the nature of reality, okay? So you got folk who just want to stay contracted or keep others in contracted beliefs because there's some insecurity or some idea or sense of security in holding on to that. But then there's a sense of insecurity why you feel threatened by hearing anything that may expound on it or make you realize maybe what you're thinking is limited in comparison to the new, information coming through that can assist you to expand and grow beyond your limitations. So you no longer have to be stagnant. But, fear is one of the big illusions that many hold on to. And they resisting these frequencies coming in. And with that resistance, they're experiencing even more pain because they don't realize what they're doing to themselves. as they hold on to this personal idea of self-image of who they are rather than tuning into their essence. Okay, yeah, I'm really flowing here and speaking in this way. I just trust that you all are keeping up with me. So, you know, as I was saying, you know, there's a massive upheaval going on here with the frequencies of anything that is not pure, that is not clear, you know, massive flipping, you know, flipping out of that which, you know, all has perceived as reality before is no longer going to be so stable. A massive shift in consciousness, moving more out of their head and into their whole body to awaken all that was dormant, hidden and buried, suppressed and held deep within. This is the clearing we are taught about, you see. And this is also more about what is necessary to prepare for the spiritual awakening. You understand? And coming out of the sleep and illusions of reality we've been creating based upon fear, based upon these limited beliefs, you know, all of this separative, believing you're separate from source and everything else, okay? Man against woman and woman against man and all of this stuff. So, so what's happening is that all of this is taking place, and then you got parts of each light body, which is your soul, because you hear about light body. Some of us would hear about light body. And you're talking about your soul, photonic light. You see what I'm saying? So, and your soul, solar, is an infinite sun. You know what I'm saying? But it's the primordial sun. It's the sun before you're dealing with the stars that came forth when the birth of the creation of the universe came into existence. I'm talking about your soul, your existence before creation. All right? This is the essence. This is what I'm talking about when we're chatting about cosmic roots here. Reality of one's true self. So part of each light body is awakening, and the awakening is the immense emotional stuff, the old fears and beliefs, the old mindsets, the old programs that are held, you know, that have held each to those old realities, those limited ideas, and all of that has kept each in a place or a space of separation and unconsciousness. It all awakens, often with a vengeance, yeah? You get a lot of stuff going on here, yeah? But it's coming up to be cleared, okay? Transcended fully from within. This is what it has, this is what it's all the purposes. So you can transcend this fully from within. This is not attacking out there, because sometimes, a lot of the times you see the stuff coming up in folk. You know, you're seeing the news going to tell you how who's attacking this and who's doing that and mashing up. And even when you're talking about the youth shooting and killing one another, you know, you see, if you stay on a limited physical material level to think that this is how you're going to approach and find solutions to the problems of, like, we got to get ourselves together. We got, we got to, we got to do this for the youths and this and that. And you don't know yourself beyond the limitations of what your own adult self is stuck into. Then you're limited in the way you're going to be approaching and even thinking the cores behind all this stuff is. You know, this is deep freaking cosmic stuff going on here now, man. We're moving in a different paradigm. Paradigm shift, y'all. Paradigm shift. And you chat to a lot of folks, older folks. Some of them are so stuck. Listen, man, they're just physical material. They don't realize there's anything beyond what they can see if you can't put it in context from a religious perspective for them to be able to comprehend. Yeah? As I'm just telling you now, man, as your light body is awakening, yeah, and with all these high cosmic frequencies coming in, the immense emotional stuff that's coming up, huh? And you ain't have a lot of these youths and a lot of so-called adolescents, you know, bigger people have no idea of all of this stuff going on. You have been taught none of this unless you are one of those individuals who seek this knowledge for yourself. Seek to go within. You know what I'm saying? And go beyond the consensus thinking and your conditioning and, you know, go beyond the boundaries in your consciousness in order to expand your consciousness beyond those limitations and conditionings. Unless you haven't been one to do that, then you're trying to use some outdated mode of operation to find a solution in something you don't even get really the source behind why you're just dealing with. You don't even understand the cause behind the effect of what you're trying to influence. the outcome of. I mean, you just keep saying the same thing year after year, decade after decade, about how we need to change this or the youth them and this and we need to, you know, when if you stay physical, man, if you're not one realizing that the soul of you, there is more to you than this corporealness. Yeah, corporeal comes from the word corpse, so I'm talking about the physical. Yeah, if you are just caught up in the package and the vessel, and don't understand the relationship of your package and vessel to the indweller, the creator, the source maker, of your package and vessel, then you're dealing with half a deck of cards. You know what I'm saying? So when these things come forth from within you, big eruption of emotional outbursts and this and that, and your ego, you're just dealing with your identifying with your ego, and fear is going to grip you. And then you're going to be just acting out and taking it out on external things you think symbolize the source of your, you know, displeasure and dissatisfaction or fear or pain and struggle, when it's like there's more behind flipping heck what's going on in your mind to this, okay, than what you are just limiting yourself in. So each person's light body awakening, which is going to bring up immense emotional stuff, the old fears, that stuff that you got on, that you're unconscious of, yeah, from when you was a little childy, even stuff you've come over with from past lives. Yes, from past lives. All of this emotional stuff, the old fears, beliefs, the old mindsets, yeah, which have become the barriers in your consciousness that limits you from expanding beyond them, yeah, the old programs that are held in each, yeah, that held each people, each one into those realities, all that kept each in a place, space of separation and unconsciousness, it all awakens, yeah, often with a vengeance, as I said already, to be cleared, transcended fully from within. You see, it's only within you're going to be dealing with this thing. You have to be self-reflective and sit with this stuff. Yeah, if you run from it, you can't run from it. Because it's from you. It's coming from, or it's coming up from within you. You can't run from it. All you're going to do in trying to run from it is just create more distortion in your life. And maybe harm other people because you believe and say, you're going to project your anger and vengeance and all this stuff coming up onto people, place, or things. Yeah? And therefore, instead of assisting yourself to clear, you're holding on to the stuff you need to let go of. So it, you know, so it's all awakenings, okay? So all of this is coming up from the dormancy in order to be cleared, so it can be transcended fully from within, so that each can return to an existence where love is the basis for all, in this new earth. Yeah, all of this stuff sounds new earth, yeah. Things that transform, and even a planet that transform. The planet is transforming. And you know, I don't want to get caught up in the Western way of looking at stuff where everybody's just looking and hugging up trees and looking at the planet and saying, the planet, and neglecting the fact that, hang on a minute, you have to transform. You people use things outside to distract themselves from their own inner work. And you gotta chat about the planet. The planet's a consciousness that is far beyond what you know, various things, like you think it's something that needs to be nourished back by you. I'll tell you what affects the consciousness of the planet. The consciousness of every being upon it. Yeah? The planet's consciousness is well in tune with the cosmic intelligence and the, you know, the rhyme and reason behind this whole show. Okay? But the thing is that if the consciousness of the individuals, which become collectives, do not change from the inside out, then how do you expect to be able to be in resonance with the consciousness of the planet in the where it's moving into now in its own awareness? You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be a vibrational match and stuff. You're going to be that. You're going to be the old crap that the planet's trying to even purge out of its own self. You know, see how it go? But you want to look outside of yourself. Oh, the planet and this and go on, like say, you know, you know, but you can neglect your own stuff that's coming up from within you. You have to realize your own body is the earth. That's what your body is also symbolizing, representing the earth. You know, see how it go? So you're going through a spiritual activation of the light body, which is your soul, which is clearing out all of those latent, dense, old, rancid, you know what I'm saying, fear-based, limited beliefs, feelings, ideas that you've been identifying with as the false self, the ego, and that has to clear. That's to clear. That's a purge. You have to purge out of them things there so you can become more, so your physical body can become more filled with the light of the spiritual being, which is your soul. Okay? So, yeah, so from within, you know, all of this is taking place from within. So each can return to an existence where love is the basis for all, not fear. Okay? So through the death and dissolution of each one's ego aspect, and when I say ego, I'm talking about your personal self-image. You know what I'm saying? The personal construct of, you know, who you believe you is from your upbringing and social construct, cultural construct, even the way history has portrayed everyone to be, to where people are holding on to realities that are false constructs by others who have set that up to control your own reality for you. You know what I mean? For you to be buying into these limited beliefs about yourself and others. Yeah? All of that has to go. So we're going, so it's like this false identity is going through a kind of death, a dissolution. And this is where all the fear is coming from. This is where you're going to see people reacting out of ignorance to what's taking place inside of them with this cosmic surge of energy increasing itself. Okay? You know, some of us just need to sleep. You're going to feel like, oh my gosh, I need to sleep, man. I need to rest. I need to sleep more, because your body needs to sleep in order to integrate these new higher frequencies into yourself. You got to think beyond the limitations of where you're keeping yourself and realize there's a cosmic reality of yourself. There's a cosmic reality behind all of this physical manifestation that you see. So yeah, so we're dealing with the ego body. You know, the ego body, the ego matrix, this false identification, this construct, forced construct that has been held deep within. It's now coming up for dissolution, to dissolve. All these realities that were built, constructed out of unconscious, non-pure soul love. Is these realities that were brought up through unconsciousness, coming from fear and conditioned idea of what you want to think is love and all of that stuff. All these realities are dissolving. And part of what kept these realities in place was each individual and groups, collective, it was their fears and the each beliefs, you know, the beliefs and the actions of each, you know, their fears and the beliefs based on these fears and the actions. Yeah, people want to keep performing. And as each awakens to transition over those beliefs and mentalities, to dissolve and dissipate, so you can collapse it inside, so this new awareness can be born, birthed, so it can come forth. You know, Mother Earth is pregnant for another time, and next time, one of the multi-million billion times, you know, the universe is giving birth, within you, to a new paradigm. You see what I'm saying? So you got to rinse out and transform your mind, you know? So, but you got people defending and holding on out of fear these limited ideas, you see, which is based on separation from your true essence and true self. Yeah, because you're identifying with your vessel and what you see in the mirror, like that's all you is, when you're more than that. You know what I mean? So, but it's up to all. There's those who are going to get this and they're absorbing, you know, they want to expand and grow in their consciousness. And then you got those who are going to feel contracted. They're going to be like, no, man, we have to defend, you know, we have to defend this and defend that. And maybe think that this is a load of nonsense, because they want to hold on to their contracted thinking and enforce others to hold on to their contracted thinking. Well, you see, the whole thing is, it doesn't really matter, because if that's what you want to do, there's no stopping this. You'll just be experiencing more dissatisfaction in yourself anyway. You're going to be experiencing more of the fear, more of the madness that you're contributing to if you're not working in harmony with yourself to clear and dissolved all of these old programs, yeah, which cannot be, they cannot move forward. You cannot move forward with these old programs and the new frequencies being established now on this planet within yourself. And as I said, your body is also the earth. Huh? Your body is also the earth. And if you deal with the word earth as a monogram and you rearrange what? You take the H at the end of earth and put it at the beginning, you got heart. So you got to go to the heart, yeah? And the heart also represents the center, or the core, yeah? Or the source of you. You know, see? So here we go back again to the source is actually within you. But we're talking about the creator source. Some will call Jah. Some will call Allah. Some will call, you know, Yahweh or Jehovah or whatever. But if you know that this is the source within you, not some, you know, big long-haired beard, somebody sitting upon throne outside yourself upon some stony rocky, whatever, Mount Olympus or wherever you want to talk. Yeah? When you know so that when we are chat about source or Jah, which is what? It's inclining to the, it's symbolizing this source within you, the power of the source within you, or the power of Jah within you, or the power of Allah within you. Yeah? You have to understand, you're not dealing really with a name, you're dealing with pure energy, intelligent consciousness, creative force. You see what I mean? Life force. Yeah? The absolute source of all existence. And it's your relationship to the source within you is what we is here to align with now. So we can transcend all this limitation and separation belief, which just breeds more fear. And, you know, everybody, like I was saying the other day, that we chat about unity, but unity is usually uniting against something, which is a bit kind of an oxymoron if you're going to use the term unity, which is coming together. Huh? But usually you're coming together against something. You know, see how this it's just a madness that, you know what I mean? That's why separation, because the energy behind that type of idea of unity is separation. It's based on the fear that is motivating you to unite against whatever you feel is a looming threat. You know, see how it goes. So all of them sin thing, man, is coming from, see, the false concept, the false ideas, this false identification, yeah, of separation. So all of this that's been here for thousands of years is coming up to get collapsed. And it has to be collapsed from within side. A lot of people want to see changes externally, but they don't want to make no change within themselves. Yeah, man, we want this to change, the government to change, the mirror with the screw face to change, but you don't want to change your own face. You don't want to do the change within yourself so the mirror can then reflect that change. No, you just want to mash up the mirror, change everything out there, but you stay the same. Ain't that some stupidness? Yes, it is. But some people don't realize that's what them are doing. They don't want to make this change within themselves. And this is where it all begins. Because the relationship you have with yourself becomes the basis for the relationships that you have with others. Because you're drawing to yourself a reflection, a mirror of that which the relationship you're having with yourself. You understand? It all starts with a personal relationship you're having with you. You're either having a loving personal relationship with yourself or an unloving one. And then you're going to draw to yourself what? Situations, people, you know, others. That's going to reflect like a mirror back to you the relationship you have, the kind of relationship you're actually having with yourself. A lot of folks don't see this. They want to blame the mirror all the time, you know. So anyway, so we're dealing with this thing. So as I'm saying, so this cosmic weather, this is the reason behind a lot of this upheaval going on. And it's going to manifest in relationships, it's going to manifest within, you know, your sleep, the way you feel, your health, and, you know, the anxiety, the fears, the agitation, even trying, you know, family conflicts and stuff, because they're made up of individuals who are going through their own stuff too, which they don't understand, and fears kicking in. And I'm trying to tell you that this is cosmic. This is all to do with the cosmic waves increasing, and it's making, how can I say, it's setting off activations, okay, on the DNA level, deep cellular level, okay, and it's what's taking place at a subatomic level. You see what I'm saying? Within your body, within you, each and everything. So this is, I'm just, you know, I hope you all get what I'm saying, you know. You know? So there we go. So there is what? So let me continue. So where was I? Yeah, so all of this stuff's got to collapse inside, okay? And new awareness is born. For a new awareness to be born and birthed, to come forth. And this new awareness is each one's inner connection and power returned through love. So there you are to claim back your power. And some are fighting against the claiming back of their own inner power, authentic power, which is love. Yeah? But not this conditioned human business that we've been caught up in for how many thousands of years. Yeah? Which is all based on condition. If you love me, prove to me you love me. All of them, transferring your sense of insecurity onto somebody else for them to be responsible for you not loving yourself. And this is what people are called love. A lot of nonsense. Yeah? But this is all fair, and this is all going to come out and be acted out. All right? But what I'm talking about here is that, all of these energies are coming in to bring up all of this fear, all of these old beliefs and stuff to be brought to the surface in order for them to be dissolved, dissipated, and collapse from inside in order for a new awareness to be born or to be birthed and come forth as a new awareness, within each and every one, who's receptive to it, as an inner connection. You're going to become aware of your inner connection, and as your power returns, through love, through the love of source, through the love of the essence of your being, because you really, right, man, the truth is that your pure source energy, which is love and ecstasy. Yeah. And I know some folk will find that difficult to really accept where they are at the moment. They think it's just Mickey Mouse, business. But you see, you have to have compassion for yourself, And you have some people that believe them coming here to save the whole world and to save the whole black race. And there's a joke of the matter. You can't free nobody if you yourself is still caught up in a prison, innit? Who are you going to free when you're still mentally caught up and enslaved in your own illusions and fears and limitations? All you're going to be doing is projecting your shit onto the screen, onto the scene, and thinking, this is what you believe has to be done to liberate people, but you're not liberated yourself. This is, I tell you, man, this is where all illusions and what we want, people get buy into these things and want to follow. When really what go on is deeper than this, deeper than that, I mean. What is going on is deeper than that, y'all. So, the love that you've forgotten and disconnected from, you see, is this your love that's returning. The love that you are, the love for yourself and each other returns from deep within as your barriers fall away. You see, the barriers in consciousness, the conditioning, the limited beliefs you have and you hold on to, and you're defending this and defending that and thinking that you're making progress, but all you're doing is contributing to further separation in yourself and others. So this is a wagwan. And some people will take themselves out because of this. Your body will mash up. You're gonna be toxifying yourself rather than detoxing yourself, and you will take yourself out of here because you're saying you don't want to go along. You don't want to. You understand? You don't want to transform and move with your soul's intention. You're going against it. So you're creating cataclysmic evolution rather than uniform evolution to experience a harmonious unfoldment, of the expansion of you. So you get people fighting against themselves and then believe, say, wow. The struggle continues, them type of talk. The struggle continues, all right? Yeah, it will continue for you, for them, for that group, because you believe the reality I deal with is struggle, and you don't even realize how you're creating the reality there. It's really, it is, wow. So anyway, the love that you forgot and was disconnected from, the love that you are, the love for yourself and each other returns from deep within you as your barriers fall away, as your walls around your heart dissolves, as your veils thin so that you can see through your heart, see from deep within you what was not yet visible before but now is. So right now is a choice. So this thing is always about love, But the version of love, you always have a counterfeit and the authentic, sitting side by side, And it's for you to have the discernment, yeah, to know which one to choose. So this new vision, it guides you. This new connection does the new connection guides you too, right? This new is not even really new. It's just something you forgot. You see what I'm saying? So it's a remembering. So when you fell, or, you know, another word for falling, you know, about the fall and you fell, is also being disconnected, or the idea of separation. You feel you're separated off, and you came here and went to sleep. Yeah, and whenever and however that was, it's, you know, because it's different for each and every one of us, okay? How we experiencing it. But basically, that fall, or when we talk about, or when we fell, that was how we experienced disconnection, or we were disconnected, separated off. Yeah? And then that's how you come here, you fall into a sleep. That's why we're talking about awakening now. You see, where you've forgotten, you're remembering now what you've forgotten. You see what I'm saying? So that disconnection was where we experienced the loneliness and desperation. And you have people going through these feelings of alienation and desperation right here now. Yeah? And acting out from these places, feeling isolated and alone, okay? Because they're feeling disconnected and confused. Yeah? Yet as your photonic light body activates, your DNA, this works through your it's going to be working through your physical body to reconnect and reconfigure and recode and reawaken you from the deep sleep, slumber, coma, prison of this three-dimensional version of Earth that is now obsolete. Only your human ego aspect will hold on to that which is no longer. So, hey y'all, only your human ego will hold on to that which is no longer. So, you know what I'm saying? When you step up in a certain argument or getting caught up in certain things that you think say are fact and real, where you coming from? You have to just really sit down and get in some deep reflection, man. Inner reflection. Yeah? Stop fighting against yourself, man. You know? You have to work with yourself. Work with your soul. Because your soul knows. But the human ego is just a construct. It's like a role an actor is playing. And don't realize, and it's like an actor getting caught up in a role and forget that he's only acting. You know what I'm saying? Because your garment, you know, is not you, but it's being created by the creator, you, the soul, for a purpose, for it to express itself through, you know, your creative actualization. But, you know, because of the disconnection, the belief in separation, all of this that's been going on for the last 2,000 such years, you've been identifying with this human I, this human identity. You know, everybody I chat about, we're only human and all them sitting there. That's this Western propaganda, to keep you not waking up to your true essential self, your immortal, eternal self. Life itself is what you is. Love, pure source, ecstasy, energy. That's what you is. But it's enough. It's not going to comprehend this as well as many who will. And while what they're holding on to, and think, anyway, let me just continue because I'm not here to run down anybody. You know what I mean? I just say, listen, man, this thing is real deal, what's going on here. And it's either, you know, you're receptive to drink the water of life, or you're going to spit it out and be one of them fools who are thirsty in the abundance of water. You know, as that saying is. You know where it come from. In the abundance of water, the fools are thirsty. How can you be thirsty in the abundance of water? Because you must be refusing to drink. So therefore you're thirsty, and you're the one being a fool. Because you're not being receptive to yourself. You're actually fighting against yourself. You're resisting the truth emerging from within. You know what I'm saying? Everything in the physical world changes, you know. All form, all corporeal, all people, places, and things. You're dealing with an impermanence. You're living in time, space, and matter, and everything changes within time. So you have to deal with the essence, yeah, which is causing this change to take place from within you, so you can emerge into the new, expanded awareness of yourself. Huh? Even transforming the vehicle you're going to be experiencing and expressing yourself through. So from the immense confusion moving people out of their head, yeah, into their heart, you see. You know, because enough people in their head. They're in their head. They're not in their heart. So the chaos and confusion and the turmoil will occur to wake each person up. So this is where you're seeing all this stuff getting on, and people are buying into all of this turmoil. Getting, you know, they're feeding into it, not seeing that it's a symptom of something. It's an effect. Yeah? Out of the, you know, to wake you up out of the amnesia. Yeah? Wake you up out of the sleeping you. You see, the amnesia you all were in. And as you do, you will be presented with a choice. And this is why this is what's going on here now. The choice. As I was saying. To honor, listen to your heart, soul, higher selves, or whatever you want to, you know, or try to go back to what you perceived as safe. Huh? Yet it's actually the opposite. It's what's not going to make you're not going to find any security in that old attachment and familiarity you're trying to hold on to. Yeah? The chaos and the confusion is inside. This is why you can't run from it. It's your inner matrix being reworked. It's your whole reality shifting, changing for you and all here on this earth. Clarity comes through your wide open heart so that your mind no longer has control. All of those emotions, energy and motion, as part of your various akashic clearings, so that your body's vibration can rise and return to full consciousness here. You see? Because your body is vibrating at a lower frequency than your soul. And now that your soul, your light body is activating and vibrating higher frequencies, your body has to go under a change. Huh? A subatomic cellular transformation. So your physical body can now raise its vibration up to match the vibration of your light body. Yes, y'all. This is what I'm going. This is what's happening. Your own level of awareness will dictate your own multi-dimensional experience here. So we're already having multi-dimensional experience. Yeah? This is why when you're trying to get people to kind of fall into one kind of doctrine and idea about themselves, and then you're going to say that, you know, we can't unite until you agree to whose idea? Huh? Whose idea of unity? Where you chat? This unity has to take place inside yourself, from the inside out. See what I'm saying? And you're dealing with multidimensional realities. You're having multidimensional realities taking place on this planet here right now. See? Not everybody's having and experiencing the same reality. Some people are suffer. Some people are, you know what I mean, going through a whole heap of hell and what's not, while other people are experiencing heaven in comparison. You see what I'm saying? The multi-dimensional reality is already taking place right here. But it's your choice, you see. What you choose to experience here. Your own full presence is required, right, to the transition, to either transition with ease and grace, or with, you know what I mean, or you'll experience it unpleasantly. So it's your presence. To be present with yourself, to be and observe what's coming up in you and be present with it so you can help work with it to dissolve. Otherwise, you're there reacting to stuff because you still want to be on the egoic controlling of somebody else. Huh? You know what I mean? To get your own way and think somebody else is responsible for your inner emotional security or whatever you feel you're lacking from within. You see, all those type of relationships, yeah, man, them things is just, don't you see how them things is just getting more destructive? And the more that you want to hold on to all of that and think that you're in something, you're limiting yourself. But anyway, those are the realities. There's multiple dimensions. No realities to be experienced now. Yeah? And it's your choice, you understand? Where I deal with. So your own full presence is required to transition with ease and grace. Your body still has to clear the density, which is immense and more than most think. Yeah, very dense, some things with certain stuff. Your physical reality does too, as everything has to be realigned to match the vibration of your soul, which is pure. You know, see where I'm going? Simplicity and integrity, honor on a soul level. is very different than the old. Every moment is a test to see if you will go unconscious back to sleep into your ego, yeah, heart closed again, yeah, or if you're gonna keep it open. It's a test. You're gonna go back asleep unconscious, or you're gonna expand your awakening. You can open your heart yourself, yeah, if it's your priority here. It will take your whole presence to keep it open, so that your light body can do the work necessary to bring your body through, crossing the rainbow bridge in your new earth existence right here. Some people think they have to jump off a planet and go somewhere else in order to experience something. This ain't, no, bro. This ain't the thing. You have to deal with the universal laws and understand everything is vibration, you know. All is consciousness, all is correspondence, all is vibration. Yeah? And every vibration, each vibration corresponds to a state of consciousness. Each consciousness corresponds to a vibration, which corresponds to a state of reality. You see what I'm saying? So, the cosmic awakenings, divine harmonics, which is now you're stepping into the 12-dimensional template alignment. All things sacred, love and pure, this is where our whole earth is right now. So the planet's already there. So, yeah, so this is the thing, you see. So, that's the cosmic weather update, you see, the cosmic weather update. And, you know, just to finish it off, I suppose, you know, each dimensions, what I'll say is that each dimension has completely, each dimension, as I just said, that each consciousness corresponds to a different vibration, okay, to a rate of vibration. And therefore, every vibration corresponds to a state of consciousness, okay? So different states of consciousness corresponds to different realities. Yeah, different realities. So each dimensions are completely different realities and experiences. The polarity and the polar opposite is much more vast than it was before. The extremes are too, when there are distortions. Yeah, because people are living in distortions of what they believe reality is. And when you deal with polarity and you go to extremes of either one side or the other, you know, all of that is imbalancement as well. But you're creating these imbalanced realities, the polar opposites. In reality, in true higher reality, you're just dealing with two extremes of the same thing. So then you transcend duality when you reach to that level of awareness. You see, you're not going to look at things as opposing one another, opposing forces, for you to be in this conflicting perspective of us against them and them against us, and, you know, everything else that you breaks down in subdivisions of this polarity of division and separation. Huh? All of that is just illusionary business. Yeah? But anyway, all of these are creating different realities at the same time and different experiences. The polarity and polar opposites is much more vast now than it was before. Yeah, because Holy Pair Extremes is kicking off. You got people that don't even know if they're man or woman anymore, boy or gal. You can be a source pan if you want to. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just, yeah, you know, it's just, it's getting very extreme. So these extremes, all of this, you know, is more advanced, is more extreme than before. So these extremes are too when they are, you know, and because these extremes are distortions, that's basically what I'm trying to say. Purity within resolves and dissolves all of this. So to be clear within yourself. As all return to purity, the extremes go and all is simple here. It's either pure love, soul aligned, or not. That's the choice. You're either dealing with the pure love to be soul aligned or not. It's your choice. Okay? But because you're dealing with the cause and effect universe, well, you're going, it's all about no one's immune from the consequences of their choices. Because it's cause and effect. What you sow is what you reap. You see what I'm saying? So what frequency you tune into is the frequency you are going to experience. Birds of a feather flock together. You know, these are all different sayings for the same spiritual law of vibrations. You see what I'm saying? So, yes, I said, I hold it pertains real fast. I trust that you get and picked up what I was saying, because there's more I want to add, other stuff I want to go into this evening, and I've only got 2 hours. You see what I'm saying? So, and I've got half an hour as such. I'm not chasing the time. I'm just being aware of it. So there's quite a lot there to get through. But I'm just going to give a little pause, yeah. And, yeah, I'm going to play this track for you because it's very pertinent, actually. Yes, to live in love is much better than just to say, baby, oh, darling, I love you. You know what I'm saying? And check it out, to live in love. You see? In love. In, not out of love. Outside, yeah, traffic, grab up and, hey. No, in love, because the love in you. The love inside. The love of your true self. The essence, the very nature, the energy, of you. To live in love is much better, you see, than just to be uttering the words to someone outside of yourself or something external to yourself, and you're not living in the state of it, of being, you know, the relationship you're having with your own self. You know, see how that go? See? So, yes, y'all, we're living in a different very time and paradigm, and we're dealing with a different cosmic design that is to what? Bring sight to the blind. Because when you were asleep, you dream certain things, nightmares and all type of things of separation and chaos and madness. But now the time is to awaken, you see, to remember what you forgotten in order for you to, rise up from the bottom to, be renewed. See? To renewed and reunited and reconnected with the source within thyself, not outside of thyself. So know that your health is the wealth, and why? Best get to know thyself, because it's the truth. So, to live in love is much better for real. To live in it. Because too much, too much counterfeit ideologies of what people believe it is. And don't realize that what they're looking for outside there is already within them. So, everything I've said already about this cosmic, the cosmic waves, y'all. Everything I've said already. You know what I mean? The cosmic forecast, the weather. Yeah, this is the higher frequencies, which is bringing up all of what appears to be uncomfortable and all of this stuff to be cleared out. It's coming up from within. You can't run from it. So when you're observing this stuff now, whether it's going on in you or whether you're observing it happening with people around you, understand that you're dealing with a cleansing period of time. You're dealing with purification, okay? So one can hold and harness more light of their soul so the physical body can raise in the vibration to match the soul in order for, you now to behold, your cosmic resonance, your new expanded awareness of yourself and remembrance of you. Because we're dealing with a multi-dimensional experience here right now. Many people, everyone's going to have a different, thing of experience based upon what they choose. To open up their hearts or to keep it closed. To be in alignment with the evolutionary process of the soul's intention or to resist it. Yeah? And then, cause and effect each way. So, I wanted to continue something that I started last Tuesday to do with the soul. And I'm into evolutionary astrology. I might have made that aware to y'all. And, it has certain core concepts to it. So I'm just going to break down some stuff from this perspective. I'm wondering if, So, I'm going to talk about the evolution of the soul, okay? So, the soul undergoes a continual metamorphic process that allows all its limitations, points of stagnation, and blocks to be transmuted and purged. The analogy of the caterpillar who makes a cocoon and then changes into a butterfly applies to describe the metamorphosis of the soul as well as the general phenomenon of evolution. How does the soul evolve? How can we consciously understand our experience? The soul's evolution. In the soul, there are two coexisting antithetical desires. One desire is to return to the source that created it, and the other is to separate from the source. It is exactly the interaction of these two antithetical desires that create and determine not only our past in all its totality, but the nature of our current reality. This is true on the individual as well as a collective level. The past has a reason for being, just as the present has a reason for being. It should be clear, then, that the soul evolves by exhausting all its separating desires. Desire is the determinant of evolution. As we evolve, the desire to know and merge with the source becomes ever stronger. The desire to know and merge with the source becomes ever stronger. I repeated that intentionally. At some point in our evolutionary journey, the desire to return to God or the Creator or Source is the only desire left in our soul. Over a great period of evolutionary time, this creates creation realized masters, okay, such as Yogananda, Sri Yeshua, Babaji, Buddha, Asar, Sri Yakutswa, you know what I'm saying? These are, and the rest of them, this is over the great period of evolutionary time. This creates creation realized masters. So you're a creation, to become a creation realized master, you gotta wake up to, you have to go through these stages. So the point to embrace is that the soul is on a natural evolutionary journey back to the Creator. Every great master and spiritual teacher that spoke with truth and wisdom validated that he or she too had to evolve, and that every soul must undergo the same evolution as the masters to reach the same high state of source or God realization. It is important to understand that soul and its metamorphosis or metamorphic process is typically unconscious in the vast majority of people. The influence of the two antithetical desires within the soul are commonly not consciously understood or understood. Many people are unaware of this. The majority of the people. The desire to return to the source or creator is the stronger of the two desires. Even if an individual is not conscious of this desire in his or her life, of course, as we evolve, we become more conscious and aware of our soul. We begin to perceive our lives and understand our own desire nature in the context of the two opposing antithetical desires from our soul. It is exactly this process of eliminating, separating desires, and simultaneously acting upon the desire to return to the Creator that stimulates or ignites such an evolution. A very simple way to experience and objectively validate these two desires within the soul is the universal experience of satisfaction and dissatisfaction. We can have separating desires of any nature. For example, we may desire a new possession or a new lover or a new career, and so on. There is a sense of temporary satisfaction soon after we actualized our separating desire. But what soon replaces that temporary sense of satisfaction? Is there not a very intense feeling within our being that there must be some or must be more than the actualization of that separating desire? And a very strong sense of dissatisfaction. The feeling of dissatisfaction is an echo of the desire to return to God or the Creator. Even though many people do not consciously recognize it as such, it is critical to understand, or perceive these emotions and experiences in this light. Because the intense sensation of dissatisfaction commonly fuels yet another separating desire. At some point in our evolutionary journey, we will realize that only the desire to return and merge with the Creator will provide true and lasting satisfaction. This is exactly the process and realization that all great masters and gurus experienced and emphasize within their teachings. In spiritual terminology, this is what has become termed nete, or the neti. This describes the process of purging, separating desires that triggers the realization within the soul of the realization of the soul of not this or not that, in the context of seeking ultimate satisfaction. There are many people that could not care less about cosmologies, the soul, or understanding life in a holistic context. Yep. Yet they still want to know what they should be doing in their life. Individuals may desire to make the inherently right choices in their life and ask questions regarding the correct life choices. Some people may want to know what their specific life lessons are, and in that context, the purpose of the life itself. You know what I mean? So one can be helped and guided and objectively answer such holistic questions through understanding the evolutionary astrology and specifically, where Pluto correlates to the soul, or the Pluto's correlation to the soul. So I'm talking about evolutionary astrology here and how, you come in here with your own map, okay, as your astrological chart to assist you on your own soul evolutionary journey. So you don't have to be dealing with this blind. But because the majority of many people could not care less about cosmologies, they could care less about their soul or understanding life in a holistic way. You know what I'm saying? Now people just say, oh boy, they don't care. So because of that, however, while they don't care, they still want to know what they should be doing in their life. You know, see how it go. And therefore, even though, while they don't care about these type of things, they're still going to experience the things going on in their life, which is going to confuse them or make them ask the question, what am I supposed to be doing? What's going on? Huh? So this is where you have some people resisting the very nature of their own soul's evolutionary intention. And life becomes hard and complicated, and or where your chat about is, spooky or foolishness, or, they're going to defend whatever the knowledge they believe they have that keeps them feeling secure against the broader or the expanded, more holistic context of looking at their life. Within that context, they reject it. So anyway, I'm going to continue, y'all. So we have this issue about the ego, you see. And I've done many shows telling that you're not the ego, you're not human. But we have a lot of, misunderstanding about this ego thing. And some of we feel we must destroy the ego, get rid of it, done. And even though you're not the human ego, there is a purpose of the human ego. And it's not, in a way, yes, you must dissolve it, see? In a sense, your identification with it. But to get rid of it is like trying to mash up your body and saying, yes, now I've dumped my body, I'm free. That's not really the truth. You know what I'm saying? So let me just give some insight about the ego from a different perspective. Yeah? Or maybe, the same thing, but from a different perspective. So you can maybe grasp it in this way. From more of an astrological point of view. And, draw out of it the info, what resonates with you, as you please. In each life, the soul creates an ego. Now, I'll just pause it right there. See, a lot of folk chat about and think that the creator, this mystical, mysterious, what's not, of a God external to you, creative force out you, this has created everything. All right? And you never create yourself. Some people think that giving thanks to life is giving thanks to the one who give birth to them, and this is how you must respect. And it's like saying, hang on a minute, but that's not actually so. Your soul created the ego, and the ego is related to your body, mind, and your self-image. Your soul created your ego. Then I see how it go. Your mother, your father, who is a soul, created their own ego too. And you created your ego through the process of growing within your mother's body. Huh? And she gives birth to your body. But she never give birth to your soul. See? Because your soul's created the body. You see, the creator source is your soul. So you have some people say, I never chose to come here. I never asked to be born. You see, all them sinting is just ignorance, big time ignorance, and you're self-rejecting. You're rejecting yourself because of ignorance. Thou shalt eat dirt. See? Right? You see, seek self-knowledge, man. This is what it says. Seek self-knowledge and know thyself. But anyway, let me continue. So in each life, the soul creates an ego. The ego, astrologically, correlates with the moon. You know, see how the moon is really a projection or reflection of the light of the sun. You know, see? And the moon acts like a projector lens. Because without a projector lens, you can't see nothing. You can't see no images on the screen. This is what I'm saying. From a projector. Okay? But let me continue. Let me continue. Let me just continue. Because I understand all of what I'm saying. But let me continue. So, the ego is pure energy, just like the soul. We cannot open up the brain and find it. Simply stated, the ego serves as an integrating function within subjective consciousness. The ego reflects our own self-image. Without the ego, we could not speak our own name. A common and destructive myth that many of us have been subjected to in spiritual life is that somehow we must rid ourselves of the ego. Evolution is affected again by the soul purging its separating desires. As this process occurs, the center of gravity within consciousness shifts from the ego to the soul. Thus, the ultimate goal within spiritual life is to shift the center of gravity from the ego to the soul, not ridding ourselves of the ego. A metamorphosis of the egocentric structure occurs as this shift in consciousness is made. The individual progressively learns to view himself or herself, the self-image, as well as every other life form in manifested creation as an aspect or reflection of the Creator. In other words, when the center of gravity within an individual is centered in the soul, then the egocentric structure of that person will naturally reflect a unity and identification with the Creator. The person's self-image will be founded upon such unity and connection with the source. The perception of separation or of being separate or being a separate entity from an egocentric point of view from the source and other life forms in the manifested creation will dissolve. As such, an evolution is made, which is an unfoldment. It's a growth. The water triad of the zodiac, Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto, and Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune, correlates with the metamorphosis, which is Scorpio, of the individualized ego, which is Cancer, as the person develops a direct connection and identifies with the source or God, which is Pisces. Now, I said this is evolutionary astrology, yo. And I'm into that type of stuff. And obviously the reasons why I got into it was because I was interested in this stuff from a young child. But I lived my life out for a good 20-odd years before I decided to get more into this astrology. And knowing my own time, my birth and everything, and I was living and experiencing my life before I came to this type of information. And when I came to this information, it was a confirmation for me because I was already living my life out and according to my astrological chart. So that's how, for myself, I knew, hey man, there's truth in this. Now, people come to certain information in their own way. For me, it used to always be experience first. Experience always came first. And then I would have the truth of what I experienced confirmed to me through information coming in the form of a book or an individual or me going to some place. You see what I'm saying? Or something. But mainly it was between it was either in a form of an individual or some information presented in some book or scripture. But the only way I could comprehend what that information was in the way that I embraced it was because I already had the experience that enabled me to identify the legitimacy or the authenticity or the validity of the information that I was receiving now. So I realized there was a correlation directly with the life force source within me that was drawing to me the very information as confirmation of the truth that I already had received through direct experience. So things can happen that way. And it's preferable when it does. Because when you do get certain information drawn to you from the external, which is going to be like a mirror, all right, reflecting back to you the truth you've already known, then you're not going to wrestle with it. You see what I'm saying? It's not something that you're doubting with your mind, because you've had direct experience before you knew anything about what you've experienced written in any book or any person telling you something. You understand? So that's how my growth from a young age was moving throughout my life. You know, I remember some old stuff my mother used to say about you don't house a child's body. I mean, no, here, excuse me, let me repeat this, clarify it. My mother used to say, you house a child's body, but you don't house a child's soul. And that's, work that out to be the truth. Because you're housing a child's body in the house that the child's living in. But you don't house the child's soul, because the child's already created, the soul of the child's already created the body to house its own soul. You get what I'm saying? So, the old folk got some wisdom, and sometimes they drop things and may not even remember that they said it. Or you know what I'm saying, don't pick it up at the time. So it can make nonsense, or it might sound like may sound like mambo jumbo. That some people flipping say when something don't make no sense, when it's just that it's not making sense on the level that they're on. You know what I'm saying? They got to raise their frequency up, over a period of time to be able to eventually get it, which is what usually happens. You get some wisdom seeds dropped inside of you as a youngster, and then it takes decades, couple decades before you get it. Something may even take longer than that. Depends on you, So yeah, this is what I'm saying here. So back to this point now. Unlike the energy of the soul, which is sustained from lifetime to lifetime until the final merging with the creator occurs, the energy of wave upon the sea again serves to illustrate this point. The soul or ocean manifests different egos or waves, life after life. Even though the waves rise and fall in any given life that soul creates, the ocean is sustained. In other words, the egos that the soul manifests in each life rises from birth, but dissolves back into the ocean, the soul, upon completion of each life. I'm sure this is going to be a very different perspective most of you ever heard of, and it's a very helpful one. Their energy is not destroyed, because you cannot destroy energy. Okay, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. All right. Just welcome in my brother in the house, brother Carl X. So you cannot destroy energy. All right. So the ego comes out from the ocean, which is the soul, and returns back after completion of this particular life back to the ocean. Okay. So the ego and the energy cannot be destroyed, but simply absorbed back into the energy that created it in the first place. The ego created by the soul allows for the individualizing aspect of the soul in each life, and serves as a vehicle through which the evolutionary intentions of the soul in any given life occur. Each ego that soul creates is orientated to reality, so that the very nature of the orientation serves as a vehicle through which the life lessons occur and are understood by the soul. Again, in each life, the ego allows for a self-image of the soul to occur relative to the individualizing aspect of the soul. The analogy of the movie projector and the lens on the projector clearly illustrates this point. If I have a movie projector with no lens on it, then all the screen will show is diffused images of light. Throughout the lens on the projector, or excuse me, without the lens on the projector, there is no distinct or clear images generated from the light of the movie projector. Thus, the lens serves as a vehicle through which the inherent images on the film can be focused and given distinct shape, form, and images. In the very same way, the ego that the soul generates in each life operates as a vehicle or lens through which the inherent images that exist within our soul take form. This natural law of consciousness is the cause of that, allows for individual self-perception and the word I itself. This natural law of consciousness is the cause of that allows, for individual self-perception and the word I itself. The soul, or the planetary energy represented by Pluto, astrologically speaking, correlates to the genetic code, RNA, DNA, chromosomes, and enzymes. In each life, the soul is the determined, or in each life, the soul is the determinant for the entire genetic code of the life. Our human form that it is being born into. Each life that the soul creates is a continuation of what had come before, where each new life correlates to the ongoing evolutionary lesson or intention of any given soul. Thus, the body type, which includes the race to be born into, the appearance of it, the culture being born into, the appearance of origins, the specific individual nature of emotions, feelings, psychology, desires, and so on, correlates to the soul's intentions reflected in the genetic code in each life. This is all given individual form in each life via the egocentric structure, or the moon, that the soul creates in each life. Thus, any person can make such statements as, this is who I am, this is what I need, this is what I am feeling, this is what I am learning, and so on. The ego that the soul creates in any life correlates with the individualizing aspect of human consciousness in this way. I'm going to... All right, one more paragraph, and I'm going to be wrapping it up this evening. So, when death occurs in any given life, as mentioned before, the ego that the soul had created for that life dissolves back into its origin, the soul. Since both are energy and energy cannot be destroyed, where does the soul go upon physical death of the body? Where is it on an energetic level? Most of us have heard of the words astral plane or heaven and hell. Obviously, what these words refer to are other realities or planes of existence. Simply speaking, the astral plane is an energetic plane of existence that all souls go to after completion of physical lives on places like Earth, right? Energetically, this plane of existence is much less materially dense than like the place like Earth. After physical death, the soul goes into or goes to the astral plane in order to review the life that has just been lived and to prepare for yet another birth on places like Earth. Upon the completion of a life on Earth, the ego dissolves back into the soul in such a way that the center of gravity within consciousness, when in the astral plane, is the soul itself. For the vast majority of people living lives in the material plane, we call Earth the center of gravity of consciousness, the ego self. This is why these individuals feel within themselves that they are separate from everything else, the center of gravity being the egocentric I. In the astral plane, the center of gravity shifts from the ego to the soul, so that when death occurs in any life, the memory of the ego of that life is sustained. This is necessary for the soul, for it is the memory, check this out, y'all, of the ego that allows the soul to not only review the life that has just been lived, but also serves as the basis for the next life to be lived relative to the continuation of the evolution of the soul itself. In each life, we pick up where we left off before. You see, people think that they are a victim and them experience this and that and want to kick out and justify all of this madness that they're chucking out to other folk and don't realize that they make it. You see, this is a different, real whole view on reality. And you have people believe them as a victim when they were the perpetrator based upon whatever they were dealing with in a previous incarnation. That's what this is explaining here. But anyway, thus the memory of the ego in each life is the causative factor in determining the type of egocentric structure the soul needs to create in the next life. In essence, it is the memory of the ego that the soul draws upon, the images contained therein, that serves as the basis of the next egocentric structure that the soul needs to generate in each successive life that promotes its ongoing evolution. So astrologically speaking, this dynamic is symbolized by the planet Pluto, which represents the soul. And this starts to get into more complexity, which I don't want to lose the point, but it all goes into more so forth. But this goes into the mechanics now of how this operates. So I'm going to end it here. So right there, you've heard that the soul is the creator of what you call the ego. The soul is the ocean and your ego is the wave. And the ego is constructed based upon the past incarnated memories based on your actions and your choices before, that sets up the reality you create next for yourself. So basically, everybody coming in here is starting off, continuing, from where they left off. All right? So anyway, y'all, this was a throwdown session, very intense and holy puff info that had to kind of get shared, you know, in a short space of time. So now, my people, it is time for me to make a transition out of here again for this year evening. And therefore, I am going to bid you all a good shadow hour, my soul brothers and sisters. And yes, that is it for me tonight. And yeah, you will catch me on the flip side again next Tuesday on the Cosmic Roots Show. So yeah, without any further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Brother Carl X. And yes, for him to yeah, bless it up. Yeah. All right, y'all. So peace, love, my soul brothers and sisters. Another session of Cosmic Root Show, Reality of Our True Selves. Thank you all for joining in, listening, tuning in. And for those who didn't manage to get it tonight, you can pick it up on the YouTube recording. All right, later on. All right, people, soul people. All right, take good care. Good shout out.